Sportin Wales podcast, powered by Sinclair Group, your go-to for Welsh sports news and views. Welcome back to another episode of Sportin Wales podcast. If you are watching on YouTube, you may have noticed we are not in our usual podcast studio. That is because to our brand new partners, Sinclair Group, we are recording from their BYD showroom in Cardiff. So a massive thank you to them. And the pod is actually powered by the car, which is right behind you guys. You probably didn't know that. I've just told you that.
It's good to know.
But today joining me on the pod is obviously spotted Gareth Anscombe and the more present Ellis Jenkins. Lads, thanks for joining. How are you both?
Very well, thank you.
Good, thank you. Yeah, just finished training. So
good
glad to join back on the potty.
Can't believe you're already complaining about that already. But thank you for coming, Gareth. I appreciate it. Ellis, obviously herself, is very close to giving birth.
Yeah, my phone is on loud, so if I get up and sprint off, you know why. She's going to labour.
So there we go. It's exciting times for Ellis. Gareth, obviously you haven't been on the pod for a long time now, obviously moving to Gloucester. How's it been? Enjoying it?
Yeah, I am really enjoying it, actually. We moved up to Cheltenham in the summer. Kids are in school, all pretty happy. It's a nice, quiet town. It picks up a bit around race week, but we've really enjoyed it. Enjoy the club. We're in the hunt in the playoff mix. Obviously had a tough loss on the weekend, but really enjoy the way we play, and hopefully we're with a chance of being in the pointy in the Premiership in a few weeks.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how's it been? Obviously, quite a few of the Welsh boys there, and Max Llewellyn, Thomas Williams, obviously absolutely carving up. Has that made it a bit easier transition wise, or? I guess probably more for the family.
Probably,
pretty easy.
Yeah, probably with outside the rugby a little bit easier. I think for myself, probably having Thomas and my connection with him has made our job a lot easier. Just filtering into a new group, a new style of play, and understanding how each other play has probably helped us a little bit. But look, we've really enjoyed it, and it's nice that we're in the hunt, and we got a big game this week against Sarries, which is a big one, but. We're sitting third, I think, at the moment, so we're in with a shout. So it's exciting times at the moment.
So big game this weekend, obviously against Saracens. You hopefully be involved with that. That's a must win, isn't it? Really, I guess if you win that, you're probably going to be in that playoff.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a must win. I mean, obviously, it's getting really close. The leaderboard around 4, 5, and 6 is really stacked. You got Bath, who are probably basically already qualified. Bristol's sitting pretty, and then there's a bunch of us fighting around that 3rd and 4th place. So I think if we were to win in London on Saturday, it'd be massive. But it's come to that point in the season now where I think your home games are must wins, and if you can sneak a couple of away wins or get a few points, then it's perfect as well. Yeah,
playing in that league with Exeter, it's a tough league, isn't it? Obviously, it's not as many teams now, but it gets pretty tight, especially near the end of the season. Obviously, pretty well documented on your social media, you are trying to break 100 kilos. How close are you?
I am, yeah. All right, I'm hovering around 101 at the moment, down from around 111, 112 around Christmas time.
So. Are you running for anything? Are you going to do anything?
I run because I enjoy...
Cardiff half marathon or no?
And do you know what? I signed up for the Cardiff half, but I think I'm away. But I might do the Swansea Bay half in June. But obviously with the new baby coming, I'm not sure if that. I'm pretty sure my training is going to take a bit of a hit for a couple of weeks.
Are you doing high rocks?
I am. Yes, me and my buddy Harry Robinson.
Although in the stadium.
In the stadium,
yeah.
Yes,
nice.
But luckily Harry's a lot slower than me on the running, so you never think he played wing, but he's
trying to shift that down.
He's doing it for 10 years now, isn't he? So.
He's still in mental nick, but he's just too muscly, he's too strong now, so he can't keep up on the running. But he texted me on Friday night saying he thinks he's pulled his calf, so I'm not sure if that's just an excuse. But yeah, just trying to lose weight, trying to get better at running, and both of them come hand in hand. Unfortunately, I really like food, so it's a difficult one.
Yeah, I was a golf game guy. You've managed to get a few rounds at Cheltenham. I know they got a real nice course in Lillybrook in Cheltenham.
Yeah, we have a connection with Lillybrook.
Bit of a freebie there, or no?
Look, I hadn't played since last summer, and I've had 2 rounds since then, so I'm starting to drip feed it back in. It's been tough with school holidays recently. Sharing who has the kids, but hopefully now the boys are picking up a bit of golf, and I think the Masters weekend is really fired it up, so boys are trying to organise a few trips, so we'll see how we go.
Yeah, it'd be rude not to ask you. You boys would have watched that surely with Rory.
Yes,
amazing TV.
Was that, for me, that was probably up there, one of the best things I've seen in a sporting moment for a long time for me.
Yeah,
I actually nearly cried, and I couldn't sleep till about 3 o'clock.
I think a lot of men almost cried watching Rory, didn't they?
Oh, when he put on the par 5, when he laid up and then put the ball in the water, I was like, oh my God. I was like, he's crumbling again.
Yeah.
But I think the shot he's hit on 15 is the best shot I've ever seen.
That's one we tried down at Lantress, isn't it?
We also just been battered by Bath on Sunday, but I can tell you on the bus back, most of the boys were at the back of the bus with their phones on watching Rory trying to get our heads away from the game. But amazing viewing, wasn't it? I think most sports fans would, were pretty just amazed at what they watched, really. And I think everyone really wanted Rory to win, didn't they? After all the heartache he'd been over the last 10 years. It was amazing viewing though.
Yeah, it was so good because I think a couple of years ago, I think Scotty Scheffler doubled the last to win. He was so far ahead, but the fact that Rose was playing so well as well, that made it like
flames, wasn't he?
It put the pressure on him. When Rory missed the putt on 18, I was like, oh, here we go.
That was the saddest thing, wasn't it? It was him, Rose, obviously him going against Justin Rose, because I was.
You wanted both.
He wanted both to win, but Rory was the one.
But to play the 18th the second time in the playoff hole, he's hit driver. Hit like a 7-9 to 2 foot.
Yeah.
It's
pretty good going. Yeah, we had to bring that up.
Sinclair Group has been part of the motor industry for over 80 years. That's not just a number, it's generations of trust built on shared values, because family isn't just who you're born to, it's who you choose to stand with, and that's what matters to us. We offer new and approved used vehicle sales and service for some of the world's biggest motor brands, and trust, that's at the heart of it all. So whether you're starting your journey or continuing a legacy, visit sinclairgroup.co.uk. Belong for good.
So that actually leads us on quite nicely, because we had a couple of questions in throughout the day for you two, because obviously, Gareth, you haven't been on for a while. And one of them was from obviously one of our mates. Who's winning the Minuti Masters this summer? Are you going to explain explain it all?
Minuti Masters, a golf trip we go on every summer. It started off as 5 of us, grew to 16 of us for my stag do last year, including my dad, one of my dad's mates, and my best man's dad. And yes, it's a tradition we're going to try and carry on until our 50s and 60s probably. Every year, big group of us.
Yeah.
So going to Lisbon this year. Lloyd Williams won the pink jacket.
Yeah, it's a nice pink jacket as well.
Sponsored by Minuti. Last year, and so he was in charge of organising, going to Lisbon this year. My money's on Jack Arell to win it this year. He's
Jack Arell is your mate from
my best
Lantriston,
man.
who is I'm a member at now Golf Club Lantriston, and he's very good abroad. I think it's because he doesn't really take the nightlife that seriously. He's in bed early, isn't he?
He doesn't drink enough, but he's taken over the catering at golf club as well, so he's spending a lot of time on the practice green.
We can promote that. That's Porky's Lantriston Golf Club.
Oh, can we? Here we are. You like that one?
Well, it's my pod, so I can go where I want. But get down there, yeah. It's been good up there. I've joined there, and it's.
You are down there a lot, mind.
Yes, I am. The kids
been sending us a lot of videos of you on the green,
getting lessons.
That's funny because he's been playing with me.
And you're trying to talk it down. You're playing a lot of golf at the moment.
And my handicap is going up.
Yeah.
At the right time.
Yeah, I like to think Jack's going to get all his good golf out now. That's what I'm calling. So
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Lloyd wins it again, to be honest.
Priestland as well.
Yeah.
He's always going to be thereabouts.
He barely works, that man, does he? So he's going to be out.
It all depends on who goes the hardest, usually the night out. I've never been out on a night out in Lisbon, so,
You'll have to see.
I struggled day 2.
Well, last year, it was us 3 and Corey Allen in the leading group, the final group, wasn't it, on the last day? We were winning on we were the 4.
I got in about an hour before tee off.
we were the 4 best scores going on to the last day, and none of us came in the top 3.
Yeah, we fell under pressure, didn't we?
Oh,
it was a tough one.
Yeah, that was a good trip. I'm looking forward to Lisbon anyway. Another one. Obviously, we've all played for the same team in Cardiff. Favourite memory or story from playing together? Can you think of? Me and you, Ellis, have been from the academy days from. I can't even remember now. Good 10, 12 years now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gareth joined, and obviously I played with you, Gareth, at Ospreys as well. Anything that stands out?
Well, from a pure memory point of view, it'd be hard to go past. Obviously, Bill Bell, unfortunately, got injured in the semi against Poe, was it? Was that what you did your shoulder?
I ripped my pectoral muscle completely off.
That's right, in the semi.
And I tried to play on.
Yeah.
And I remember, I just remember from that game, Gareth threw me a missed 3 and literally just after, and I've gone to catch the ball, but only one arm moved. I've had to catch it with one hand.
Yeah, so I mean
so I knew something was wrong then.
From a weekend and a memory, obviously winning the Challenge Cup and the way we did it against Gloucester, that would probably be pretty special. In terms of rugby moments, though, I can't.
No, you give me a few assists for Wales.
My first test. Yeah,
a couple of stories you probably can't say on here, but other than that?
Yeah,
really
beating you in a race in the academy. So me and Kath, speed session. Obviously,
This is day one of my academy
I'm a back
career.
rower. He's a winger. Just come in, been carving at the sevens, and we're doing a speed session. So we're having a race. I started, 5-10 yards ahead of you.
Yeah.
So he's got S&C coach blowing the whistle.
I had 40 kilos of weight behind me as well.
Yeah, I'm sprinting, thinking he's going to pass me at some point. We got to the finish line. I dipped across the line. I was like, yes, I've done it. Turned round. He's like 30 yards behind me, lying on the floor, clutching his hamstring.
That was the start of the hamstring.
I was like, ooh, maybe.
That was the start.
Yeah, maybe I should have looked into that a little bit more. 14 years later, I'm still doing my hammy. So yeah, that wasn't a good start, was it?
No, you still never beat me in a race, so
Yeah.
lucky.
Okay, well done. You've got me on that one. Another one. Who is the best and worst crack at Gloucester? Surely there's a
We've got
couple
a
of
couple
good
of
lads.
characters. Cam Jordan, a lock at the club. He's good for a couple of one-liners. He's always around the coffee era. He's always good to listen to once he gets going.
Does he just stand by the coffee shop?
Well,
and
we've
abuse
got a little
everyone?
lounge play area, and he's quite a big man. He likes to take front and center. And,
Yeah.
he's usually making the most noise, so he can be quite entertaining. You say worst crack, or
Yeah, go on. Yeah, throw someone under the bus.
I tell you who's
Who
an
doesn't
interesting.
turn up
I tell you who's
socials?
an interesting character is Val Rapava Ruskin, our lucid prop.
Right.
When he's fit and firing, he's an amazing player. In between, he can be a little bit quirky and unusual. So I'd say Val is a pretty special character in the Gloucester team.
I'll have to find out a bit more about him. I think maybe get him on the pod one day.
Would probably have to pay him a lot of money to make him come here, I'd imagine.
Oh, we'll find out the budget.
Have to
You
get
can
another
come out of your
car
pocket anyway. Last one, I thought was a bit funny because, well, it's not funny. The Lions 10, that seems to be one of big talk. You obviously played a pretty decent one on the weekend in Bath. You boys got an opinion on who you think will be starting 10 for the Lions this summer? Obviously, I'd love it to be you, Gal.
Yeah,
but
no, I think probably the way it's going at the moment, it probably would be Finn with where he's at in his game, playing for very, very good Bath side, pretty powerful side. So I'd expect if they go pretty far in the Premiership, which they probably will, you'd think he's probably going to be front and centre that Lions side at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. I really like Marcus Smith as well. He's probably the ideal player to have on the bench, and he obviously covers 10, covers fullback, and if you're a couple of points behind, you can bring him on to spark something. But he's obviously got moments of magic. But I've watched quite a few games of he's played for Quins, and I think his kicking game and the way he controls the game is really underrated as well. Just because he can do the flashy stuff, people assume that's his only thing, but. Yeah, it's tough to look past Finn Russell, I think, at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, I think if you look at all the 10s in terms of experience, he's probably the only one that's really had a lot, isn't he? I think, Sam Prendergast, Marcus Smith.
Do you know what?
Do you think that would play against him or play for him?
After the autumn, I would have said Jack Crowley would be right in the mix because he obviously took Ireland to the championship last year. I thought after the autumn, obviously Ireland weren't quite clicking, but Fowler's coach, I had money. Well, I thought Ireland were going to win the championship again this year. And I thought Crowley would be at 10, but obviously Prendergast has come in and thrown a bit of a spanner in the works. I don't think he's ready to play to start at 10, but he's young. He's a young kid. He's obviously got a lot of talent, hasn't he?
A lot of experience, isn't he?
I think it's a fair point around experience and like Finn's age. He's 31, 32. So, there's still going to be a lot of pressure in that environment. So I still think he's probably the man that has the jersey at the moment.
Yeah, because obviously you got Finn Smith as well, haven't we? Who pretty much took Marcus's shirt for England. So yeah, that an interesting one. There were a couple of other good questions, but we come to the end if we got a bit of time. We'll go straight on to probably the big news of the week, isn't it? Really, for our club Cardiff going into administration, and then obviously the massive WRU takeover. Ellis, did you have any idea that was happening, or was it a bit of a shock? Well, it's a bit of a shock to me because I thought, look, Cardiff were always going to be all right. But
yeah, there's been rumours sort of behind the scenes for the last couple of months, but there's always rumours about various things in Welsh rugby in there. But to be honest, when it was announced, first I heard of it, I've been coaching Cardiff Uni, and our varsity match was meant to be on the Arms Park on Wednesday. I had a phone call off the head coach on Tuesday morning saying it's been cancelled because Cardiff have gone into administration, so they can't have the fixture on the field. So I was like, oh, wow.
Oh, they actually moved that, did they?
They ended up moving it to the Principality Stadium, because they couldn't have the fixtures. There's 3 big fixtures, couldn't have them on the Arms Park. But mate, again, I've said this before, how that's happened, how that's been allowed to happen to Cardiff, less than 12 months after the new owners came in, took over, there was a big song and dance, how exciting it is, the opportunities it presents to Cardiff, that we're going to go out and sign, they're brandishing big names around. To be in administration a year later, I think is absolutely, it's disgraceful. And again, I don't know how it's happened so quickly. I don't know if there's, I don't know what's going on, but it needs to be real questions asked of the people at the top and the people involved.
Yeah, the due diligence in terms of the ownership. There obviously wasn't any done, was there?
Well,
but is that Cardiff's fault, or is that the union as well? Because obviously, in theory, they're supposed to be as one, aren't they?
Yeah, but there's they employed an agency, like an agency from London to do the due diligence. So whether there's any comeback on them, I don't know. But like I said, it's something's not right. I just don't understand how it's got to this point so quickly. And it needs to make sure that everyone involved with the WRU need to make sure it doesn't happen, or nothing like this can happen again. Because again, I think they're lucky they're Cardiff. For commercially, Welsh rugby needs a team in Cardiff, and I think they're probably lucky that they've got that sort of almost a bit of an insurance policy, because I think the WRU are probably forced to step in and take over.
Like obviously, if we look at it, a lot of people are asking, should we have 3 regions? And if you look at it from an outside point of view, this is probably the best opportunity, isn't it, to do that? Obviously, but obviously we've got a lot of people's livelihoods, and we're close to Cardiff because we've been there for so long. So, like I said, I think probably lucky that they are.
I think
Cardiff,
so.
and I'm pretty close to the union.
Yeah,
as well.
very, very lucky. And obviously, you feel for the players and the staff, because they're the ones who are negatively impacted. They got a big game against the Ospreys coming up on the weekend, and all everyone's talking about is the club being in administration. So hopefully that the WRU takeover has eased the anxiety and the sort of the worry around that, and they can put a performance on Saturday.
There would have been a few sketchy blokes for 40 hours,
massively.
Whether they were working on a Thursday.
Well, they were unemployed for 48 hours, weren't they?
I think too, also the knock-on effect of that, I'm pretty sure that I heard that the boys weren't actually allowed into training for most of last week.
No, they weren't.
You're not allowed in around the building.
So this Judgement Day is pretty affected then.
Look, they've still got, I'm sure they would be still pretty well prepared, but it sounds like it certainly affected their training week last week, which is obviously pretty frustrating for the group, but those are the knock-on effects of what's happened. Yeah,
obviously as well this week, it seems to be all in one week. The regions were supposed to have signed an agreement, which is called a One Wales campaign, and obviously they had the deadline on Tuesday, and it's still not signed. So obviously the agreement obviously isn't quite good enough for the regions to say yes to. How do you think that's going to go going forward? Obviously, the union taking Cardiff over. Is the future the union taking over all the regions, or do you think they're just going to carry on as normal?
Yeah,
just look for investment.
I don't know. I think the new agreement requires external funding to underwrite some of the debt. So it's difficult, and it's probably a difficult sell really for.
I think there were 9 million owed to the union, so in debt. So now I think they're about 6.
Again, I don't know whether the WRU taking sole ownership is the answer. There's obviously I guess there's reasons why that hasn't.
Is it a good investment, Cardiff?
I don't know.
From the outside, you think it would be, wouldn't you? But
if there's going to be any region that you think should and would attract investment, you'd think it would be Cardiff, purely because of, like Ellis has pointed out, where it is and its rich history. But
just the amount of businesses and commercial stuff in Cardiff as well. I think,
and the stadium's in a great location as well.
What do you think rugby, I guess, in Wales needs to? Do you think we should maybe go to the Premiership and be a bit competitive there? Maybe even have 2 or 3 teams there, and then have I guess, feeder clubs in Wales, maybe one in the Championship. Because at the moment, we're not really that competitive, are we, in the URC? And maybe if we go over the bridge, will we get better crowds? Because going off the back of the weekend when Ospreys played Leon, there was 3,000 people for a quarter-final. That's a bit of a worry, isn't it, for me? Yeah, I don't know if that's just the Ospreys or not.
I think, understanding the Premiership now, I think in the past, when they've had these conversations, the Premiership have always been quite strong in their beliefs that they don't need the regions. But I think from playing in the Premiership now and still seeing how even the Premiership clubs are struggling, I think the fact that it's only down to 10 teams, the Premiership as a competition is a little bit light, and I think they would now really benefit from having a few regions in the Premiership. I think, we played the Scarlets at Kingsholm around Christmas time, and the travelling support they had in the shed was fantastic. The atmosphere was amazing. And the one thing that the USC battles with is they get no travelling support. And I think the Welsh regions would certainly add to the Premiership. I don't know whether 4 regions in the Premiership would be the answer, but I think, having 2 or 3 that could step up to the Premiership, I think the Premiership would really benefit from that. And I think talking about Welsh Rugby would massively benefit from that. So as a player, I would certainly love to see that happen. But there's obviously a lot of conversations and difficulties around the USC and the Welsh Rugby Union's commitment to the URC, and then where the Premiership's at with adding a few more teams. But I think from a spectator point of view, it'd be amazing because the atmospheres were unbelievable.
Yeah, I actually think I do think the URC is a real tough league. If you look at obviously how well some of the teams are doing in Europe, Leinster, Glasgow, and so forth. It's tough league, isn't it? But like I said, how do we get more out of the game in terms of young fans coming to games, being more of a, entertainment sort of business, in terms of, like you watch American football, NFL, seems to be a real good thing for crowds, isn't it? We don't quite have that in rugby, do we?
I think commercially is where we've got to drive it, isn't it? And I think it looks so much better on TV when we have full crowds. Suddenly the game experience and the match day experience is far better for the fans, and suddenly they come back next week. And I've played in some games in the URC where you play teams from South Africa or Italy, and there are no fans that are there, and just the atmosphere is dead. And from a fan's point of view, that the match day experience can't be as enjoyable than when you get compared to 12,000 that you can get in the Premiership. So I think that's where the URC could really improve, and there's obviously multiple challenges with that, with all the different countries that compete in it. But I think now from a Premiership point of view, they would really benefit from adding a couple of teams into the league, because the English teams also need a couple more home games. We're in towards the back end of the season now, and I think Gloucester, we've only got 2 home games from the Six Nations. So, I mean, it's not a long time in terms of trying to bring cash flow into the club. There's other challenges with other clubs facing the same thing. So by having 2 or 3 extra teams in the Premiership, suddenly you got 2 or 3 extra home games. It makes a big difference into the profit loss margin at the end of the season. Yeah,
well, obviously Bristol are playing Bath in the Principality, which I think they're looking at selling 50,000 tickets for, which is mad, really, isn't it? So if you're going to get that over the bridge, if you do get that crossover with Caltech, I think, it could be pretty good moving forward.
Sinclair Group has been part of the motor industry for over 80 years. And in that time, we've learned it's not just about cars, it's about the impact we leave behind. We believe in driving change, supporting the people around us where we live and work. Because when our communities thrive, we all do. We offer new and approved used vehicle sales and service for some of the world's biggest motor brands. But what drives us goes far beyond the road. So whether you're starting your journey or continuing your legacy, visit sinclairgroup.co.uk. Belong for good.
Which leads us on quite nicely to the Judgement Day this weekend. We've obviously all played Judgement Day since 2013. It's been going a while now. Ospreys v Cardiff. How do you think that's going to go? Obviously, Ospreys had a pretty tough defeat against Lyon on the weekend. I felt like they threw a lot, chatting to a lot of the boys, they threw a lot of sort of their eggs in that sort of basket, really, against a Cardiff team who we spoke about earlier. We were not sure really how unsettled they're going to be. How do you think that'll go?
Well, I think both teams are in with a very small chance of qualifying for the playoffs, aren't they? They probably need some other results to go their way, but both have still got a chance. So it's almost like knockout rugby already. They got 4 games left. If they win this one, they potentially go on to the next round, if you like, with 3 games to go. But if they lose, whoever loses on the weekend is pretty much, that's their season done. And they're out of the playoffs. They got nothing really left to play for and still got to go to South Africa for the last 2 games. All 4 regions obviously finishing the season in South Africa. So Ospreys are playing, particularly the second half of the season, they've played some really good stuff.
Yeah.
They've been much. They've been good to watch
since Toby Booth left.
Well, you said that on me.
I haven't said that. That's come from other sources.
Well, no, it's
just written down here.
That's the way it's fallen, hasn't it? But they've been playing some really good stuff. They look like they're really enjoying it.
Yeah.
It helps they've got a couple of their better players back. I think it'll be a tough day for Cardiff, but these games they've always been traditionally been high scoring, one way or the other. And I think in the Principality it'll be a high scoring game.
Yeah, and obviously the other game, Dragons against the Scarlets. Scarlets have still got a little bit to play for, haven't they? I think obviously they've got Leinster as well, I think next week, so pretty tough running. Dragons, are they going to get a win?
They've actually,
away from home,
the last few years, been the Scarlets' bogey side a little bit, haven't they? They have beaten them quite a few times.
Yes, in Judgement Day as well, I think, haven't they?
So,
yeah.
I mean, I'd still expect the Scarlets to win because I think they have been much better again since Christmas. I think I'd still expect Scarlets to win, but definitely the Dragons usually get excited playing Rush Regions. They seem to gain a little bit of confidence in those games for some particular reason. And I'd still back the Scarlets, but I think it might be a bit more competitive than maybe what everyone else thinks.
And Scarlets as well in the same boat, saying they're 33 points. I think they're 3 points off the playoffs, so they're...
They're going to be playing a Leinster side next week, are pretty much already qualified, and they will have Europe the week after.
Their
third team is, what is it? What do we used to say? Their third teams are better than second team. Or their seconds are better than the first.
All the boys who want it, they want it more.
So I guess going on to the theme of that, I've thought about, we played it since 2013, me and UL. I think I can't remember when your first Judgement Day was, Gareth, but trying to pick an all-time Judgement Day 15 from, I guess, the games that we played. So I know I sent you this earlier on, whether you've actually looked and had a thought. Should we try and do a quick little 1-15?
Give me about 20 minutes notice to try and
I sent you this
in the car. Oh, yeah.
So
I've not
should we have a crack now?
Go on.
Go on then. Should we go loose heads in terms of players we played with or against?
Gareth and Jenkins.
Yeah, I was going to go
on.
Gareth.
Yep.
Hooker.
Ken?
Ken.
Tight head. Foul was mine.
Yeah, I'd go with Foul.
He actually did a really good... The one year we actually finally, Cardiff had a really good win Judgement Day. He was on fire for us.
He scored a lovely try, didn't he?
Ran over someone.
I think you carried the first, it was off a hit up, you carried, and then
Foul came out of the corner.
You know, one thing, I don't know if you remember, there was the first kick-off of the game. I think the whole emphasis of the week was like, right, first kick-off, we get into him. I think it might have been you, Gareth, I'm not sure. I'd done a real good high kick, and I'm chasing the ball. I'm about to just like hit whoever the winger was, and out of nowhere, Foul is beating me to him, and he's absolutely
man was ripped up for
melted. I think it might have been like Hallow Dirksen absolutely ended him, and it was just like, wow. Like,
sets the tone for the game.
yeah, literally that was it. And we ended up, I think we obviously we went on one that time. Second rows,
You'd have to go Alan
Alwyn, Tyburn. I think you played for Scarlets. I think I played against them.
Jake Ball.
Jake Ball.
One, yeah. I haven't played against him in Judgement Day, but there's a couple of times where he's just probably a bit of not a very flashy second row, but just a big angry man.
He did have a couple of really effective years there, didn't he? So
yeah.
Back row. Mine was between Nick Williams or Faletau at 8. Trying to
I
think.
don't know if Toby's played that many Judgement Days.
I remember a lot of the Wales boys didn't because it was literally straight after.
But he also left when Judgement Day started, didn't he?
Yeah.
So based on that pure reason, I'd always pick Toby and everything. But based on, I don't actually think Toby's played that many.
Tips would be the other one. El's going to pick himself.
Can't do that. I was hoping you were going to do that. Yeah, I'll go with
I can't pick too many.
I tell you who I'm going to go for 6, which is probably a bit of a left field selection, is Ollie Cracknell.
Yeah.
Played against him once, and he was like I think he'd come to Cardiff for like a week trial or something. Ended up at the Ospreys anyway, and he was playing. And I remember, you always have your opposite number. I think I was playing 7 for Cardiff, he was playing 6, and he's come around the corner. I was thinking, right, I'm going to empty him here. And I remember I got everything right, got all my technique right. I hit him as hard as I could. Ended up on I got him down. He fell over the top of me, but I just remember lying on the floor thinking, Jesus Christ, who was that?
He's a block.
He's been going well for Leicester, to be fair, Crackers.
He was just so solid. Yeah, it hurt.
Do you remember? I think he left the same time you left. Remember his highlight reel when they put it up on the screen? It must have been him just emptying about 10 blokes in a row.
Yeah.
And one of them was in Connacht, and the bloke did like a backflip. Do you remember? Go and look it on YouTube if you see it.
Yeah,
it is
it was a big
huge.
hit,
He kills him.
Yeah, he did.
He was a big hit,
Yeah, that's a
wasn't
good
he?
shout. Go Crackers.
We go Crackers.
Yeah.
We go Tips / Ellis.
I'm going to put Josh Navidi in the mix.
Josh Navidi as well.
He actually had a really good Judgement Day one year too.
Yeah, remember he scored a try off the back of the line.
Yeah,
he gives Scott Baldwin the palm to the face, didn't he, and ran into the post. So,
who else? We got 9. So probably go Chidgey maybe. Guy Davis up there. Thomas. Who else? Webby.
Yeah, all 3 of them are in with a shout.
Pretty good,
Really,
aren't they?
I think they've all had some pretty good moments.
Yeah, I'm just
Lewis
trying to think
Jones. Lewis Jones.
Who?
Didn't he made a break from the 22 and got caught by the...
Yeah,
someone, didn't he?
5 metre line.
Yeah, so we'll go with one of those three. 10, obviously you got Priestland, Bigger. Can't think of anyone else.
Yeah, you'd have to probably go Biggs, I'd say. I don't know if
I'd
he
go Biggs.
Lost too many, did he?
Biggs actually got the most points.
In Judgement Days.
No, Gareth has the most points in
Really?
Judgement Days. Do you know that?
We're going to overlook me. Well,
Interesting.
Yeah.
I remember
77 points for Cardiff and you had 9 for Ospreys. So you had 86. But
so I'm a Judgment Day legend, basically.
yeah, pretty much.
So therefore...
Do you know who scored the first try?
first try in Judgment Day.
First try in
that was the
Judgment
year
Day.
before I came.
Robin Copeland.
No. Big man, plays in France now.
Ross Moriarty.
Real young, plays on the wing. Used played on the wing, moved to
Tyler
centre.
Morgan.
No.
George North.
George North.
Did he?
Scored the first try.
That was in 2013, was it?
Yeah, first try for
'cause
Scarlets.
right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
My first year was the year after.
You've got the most points, Garrett. Dan Bigger's got the most points in the game, 21 out of 26 in one game. It's
It would have
pretty
been
good.
against us too.
Was that when he dropped the goal at the end?
Might have been the year before they batted.
Oh, was it?
The year when they... What the year
It,
did
it,
they club
it was
us?
actually
2016,
most of his
yeah.
highlight reel was that game
Yeah,
when he
someone
retired.
ran-
So he
someone ran
retired
off him.
last week, didn't he?
Yeah.
And it was pretty much that game
Yeah.
of him
They-
absolutely
they carved
carving
it.
chicken
Yeah,
up.
Yeah,
they
didn't
did go well that day. We got them back, I think, a year or two later.
What we got? Centres? Who we got? Tough that one, isn't it? I can't think.
Centres.
Did Parksy go well on a Judgment Day?
Parksy did all right. I think Foxy actually did quite well on a couple of occasions.
Remember Corey Allen having man of the match in
Corey.
Judgment Day once?
Yeah, he'd be up there. I'm trying to think. I can't really think.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of
A couple of Dragons boys, maybe.
Ray.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think people that actually played a lot of Judgment Days because I can't. Did Foxy have a few because he was in France at the start, wasn't he?
Yeah, Ray would be up there, wouldn't he?
Yeah. I'd go with Ray. I'd pick Ray in every team I'd ever.
pretty
I'd
blues-based,
have
but-
Ray as
Yeah.
13. Who's 12 then? I'd be happy with Parksy, but
Yeah, we'll go Parksy. Scarlets, keep
I
them up.
missed anyone else? Anyone from Dragons?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Don't.
Back three. Who we got? I remember Jordan Williams scoring a worldie once before. I
Yeah.
think Ria Dyer as well scored a worldie a couple of years
I
ago.
think Dan Evans carved us up one year too.
Yeah, he'd be there.
Yeah, I think-
He'd be fullback, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
he did a good
in
couple.
that case, I'll put Sanj on the wing because he's another one who I've flown at the line and tried to smash, and he's a
Yeah,
lot.
but he is literally a
Bag of
bag
he's a
of
lot more
spanners.
dense than
Bag of
we
bones.
thought.
He is literally a bag of spanners.
So we'll go,
isn't
what,
he?
Sanj on one wing?
Sanj wing, Dan Ebbs,
Yeah.
and we'll go Ria Dyer on the other wing.
Yeah, we'll
I
get
just
one of the
remember him
drinks.
scoring a pretty good worldie.
we
That's
go.
pretty good 15.
Yeah.
Right, well, Judgment Day this weekend. Obviously, Prince Palace Stadium. Hopefully, still tickets available. So, hopefully, hopefully some sort of atmosphere, isn't it, for the lads?
Sinclair Group has been part of the motor industry for over 80 years, and we've never stood still. Because for us, it's not just about where we've been, it's about where we're going. We believe in progress, embracing innovation, investing in technology, and moving towards a more sustainable future for everyone. We offer new and approved used vehicle sales and service for some of the world's most forward-thinking motor brands. But our drive is always to the future. So whether you're starting your journey or continuing your legacy, visit sinclairgroup.co.uk. Belong for good.
A little quick one. We'll go through Women's Six Nations out. England, obviously flying. They're looking like definitely going to win it.
Yeah.
Them v France, probably last game. Wales, under Sean Lynn, my old college coach, obviously they lost 42-12 against France, but they were in it, weren't they, with at least 10, 15 minutes left.
Yeah, half time 14-12. So it was it was very, very close. I think France might have just scored before half time actually to take it a
They
little bit
scored
further.
before
but-
and scored after. didn't
Yeah,
they,
so
which
it
killed
was
the game.
14-12 just before half time. It was always going to be a real tough challenge. You got England who were streets ahead of everyone.
Oh, they're another level.
At that level, yeah. France are the only ones who've got a chance against England because of their power, particularly their forward pack, and they turned that on against Wales in the second half on the weekend, and it was
They get some fans in France as well.
oh, they just
Atmosphere,
couldn't.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it
The
was.
game is flying in France, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
it's genuinely
Unbelievable.
so good to watch. Just the fans everywhere. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
And and obviously you spoke about how well the budgets are, but they're like the top 10 highest paying, so that obviously helps as well. doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it
But when
does.
you're selling out every single game,
Yeah.
and you're playing like,
and the whole
Bordeaux
village is on
Toulouse.
board as well, and we've
They
all
all
been
buy
there. The whole
into it,
village
don't they?
shuts down at 6 o'clock, and everyone just congregates around the stadium. But yeah, Ireland this weekend. Ireland were losing 7-5 to England. 7-5 to England
Half-time.
at half time on the weekend. Ended up losing by 40 odd points, but again, England are too good for everyone. So it'll be a big test for Wales this weekend.
That Rodney Parade as well.
At Rodney Parade, yeah. So last home game, I think it's one that Wales will target, and if they're looking to improve game on game throughout the Six Nations, it's one that Wales will be targeting. Sean Lynn will be putting a target on this one, and then you go away to Italy next week, which you should be winning. If we're realistic, we should be beating Italy, regardless of where we're at. But yeah, this one's a big test, I think, on the weekend.
Yeah, well, hopefully they go well. I think there's definitely some sort of improvement game by game, isn't it? But for Sean, he's obviously gone in for a week, and so they're going well. So yeah, they got Rodney Parade this week against Ireland, and then Italy. Then big game away to finish off the Six Nations. That's hopefully they finish off with a bit of positivity. Lads, that's it really. Just say goodbyes, and hopefully you go well this weekend against Saracens, Guy, and the rest of the season.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
We'll be hopefully getting the playoff. We'll come down, hopefully King's Home.
Yeah, brilliant. Get down to the shed.
We'll get down there. Good atmosphere. And Ellis, all the best. You'll be having your second child. Hopefully before the next time you're on the pod.
Hopefully.
So give our best to Soph. So lads, cheers for coming, and catch you all soon.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you very much.
And a quick thank you for Sinclair for hosting.
Sportin Wales podcast, powered by Sinclair Group, your go-to for Welsh sports news and views.